In this world there is no one exactly like you, everyone is unique and one of a kind. But while that is technically true, there are some people out there that take uniqueness to a whole other level. From an iron-eating person to a lady who survived a fall from 33,000 feet without a parachute. Let us introduce you with 4 extraordinary humans who are truly one in a million and have left medical science astounded. Once again, a warm welcome to the Dark Side videos. French entertainer Michel Lotito was born in Grenoble. He was famous for deliberate consumption of indigestible objects, due to which he got famous to be known as Monsieur Mangetout, Mr. Eat-All. At first glance, he may seem completely normal, but this person has spent his entire life doing something that an ordinary person cannot even imagine. Yes, this is the only person in the world who used to eat metal. And not just any simple form of metal, but sharp and fast-flowing pieces. Michel Lotito began eating metal at 9 years of age, and he performed publicly beginning in 1966, around the age of 16. Initially, people used to think that maybe he was just pretending, but after eating metal several times, X-rays were performed on him, which revealed the passage of metal pieces through his digestive tract. Doctors determined that Lotito had a thick lining in his stomach and intestines, which allowed his consumption of sharp metal without suffering injury. Lotito also had digestive juices that were unusually powerful, meaning that he could digest the unusual materials. He had an eating disorder known as pica, which is a psychological disorder characterized by an appetite for substances that are largely non-nutritive. However, it also meant that soft foods, such as bananas and hard-boiled eggs, made him sick. Lotito's performances involved the consumption of metal, glass, rubber, and other materials. He disassembled, cut up, and consumed items such as 45 door hinges, 18 bicycles, 15 shopping carts, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, 500 meters, 1,600 feet of steel chain at once, 1 Cessna 150 light aircraft. The Cessna 150 took roughly 2 years to be eaten. From 1978 to 1980, Lotito claimed not to suffer ill effects from his consumption of substances typically considered poisonous. When performing, he ingested approximately 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds, of material daily, preceding it with mineral oil and drinking considerable quantities of water during the meal. It is estimated that between 1959 and 1997, Lotito had eaten nearly 9 tons of metal. Lotito's method for eating all of this metal was to break it into small pieces before attempting to eat it. He then drank mineral oil and continued to drink water while swallowing the metal bits. This acted as a lubricant to help the metal slide down his throat. Lotito did not have any digestive problems as a result of his unusual diet. Lotito holds the record for the strangest diet in the Guinness Book of Records. He was awarded a brass plaque by the publishers to commemorate his abilities. He died of natural causes on June 25, 2007, 10 days after his 57th birthday. He is buried at St. Roch Cemetery in Grenoble, his hometown. Paul Carasson. The next time you are feeling a little blue, cast your thoughts to Paul Carasson. In his younger years, Paul was fair-skinned with red hair, but later developed a bad case of eczema. In his search for a cure to alleviate the painful cracking of his dry skin, he stumbled across a magazine advert showing a shriveled old daisy brought back to life by a powerful liquid. That liquid was colloidal silver, which consists of tiny silver particles suspended in a liquid base, and was being paddled as a cure-all for skin conditions. With hopes of becoming as fresh as a daisy himself, Paul set about making his own colloidal silver at home. Soon he was drinking 10 ounces of glass of the stuff each day, hoping to improve his general health as well as treat his dermatitis. However, after a few years of his regimen, Paul developed a case of what doctors call argyria. In other words, he turned completely blue. This blue-gray discoloration of the skin and eyes is caused by an excessive buildup of silver ions like those found in colloidal silver. The condition is extremely rare but completely irreversible. And Paul was ironically left with skin that drew way more attention than his eczema ever would have. But despite becoming more reclusive to avoid the stares, Paul never stopped taking his colloidal silver potion. He passed away on September 23, 2013, at the age of 62 after suffering a stroke that was completely unrelated to his argyria. In fact, argyria isn't considered to be all that dangerous at all, save for the damage to your ego having to explain to everyone you meet. Zhang Ruifang. In 2009, a 100-year-old woman named Zhang Ruifang from China's Hunan province noticed something strange, hard and brown growing from the left side of her forehead. Once 2010 rolled around, her forehead friend had grown to 2 inches long. And by her 102nd birthday, it was almost 4 inches long. Stranger still, before long it became apparent that Zhang was growing not just 1, but 2 of these horn-like appendages on either side of her forehead. Despite resembling what her family refers to as devil horns, these growths are actually skin tumors known as cutaneous horns. These abnormal protrusions from the skin are formed from keratin, the same substance that makes up fingernails. While the exact cause of cutaneous horns is unknown, exposure to radiation from sunlight is theorized to be a driving force, and we suppose after a century on Earth, Zhang's forehead has seen a lot of sunlight. Despite doctors and family members urging Zhang to get her horns removed, she reportedly refused because she'd never had so many well-wishers and visitors to her home. Since 2011, there have been no public updates on Zhang and her horns, but here's hoping they continue to grow to this day, as a kind of crown to celebrate her seriously impressive age. Clive Wearing, born May 11, 1938, was a British former musicologist, conductor, tenor and keyboardist who developed chronic anterograde and retrograde amnesia in 1985. Since then, he has lacked the ability to form new memories and cannot recall aspects of his memories, frequently believing that he has only recently awoken from a comatose state. In educational psychology contexts, Waring's dual retrograde anterograde amnesia phenomenon is often referred to as 30-second Clive, in reference to his 30-second episodic memory capacity. Clive Wearing is an accomplished musician and is known for editing the works of Orland de Lassus. Wearing sang at Westminster Cathedral as a tenor lay clerk for many years and also had a successful career as a chorus master and worked as such at Covent Garden and with the London Sinfonietta Chorus. On March 27, 1985, Wearing, then an acknowledged expert in early music at the height of his career with BBC Radio 3, contracted herpes viral encephalitis, a herpes simplex virus that attacked his central nervous system. Since then, he has been unable to store new memories. He has also been unable to associate memories effectively or to control his emotions, exhibiting unstable moods. Wearing developed a profound case of total amnesia as a result of his illness. Because of damage to the hippocampus, an area required to transfer memories from short-term to long-term memory, he is completely unable to form lasting new memories. His memory for events lasts between 7 and 30 seconds. He spends every day waking up every 20 seconds or so, restarting his consciousness once the time span of his short-term memory has elapsed. During this time, he repeatedly questions why he has not seen a doctor, as he constantly believes that he has only recently awoken from a comatose state. If he is engaged in conversation, he is able to provide answers to questions, but he cannot stay in the flow of conversation for longer than a few sentences and is angered if he is asked about his current situation. Wearing remembers little of his life before 1985. He knows, for example, that he has children from an earlier marriage, but he cannot remember their names. His love for his second wife, Deborah, whom he married the year before his illness began, is undiminished. He greets her joyously every time they meet, believing either that he has not seen her in years or that they have never met before, even though she may have just left the room momentarily. When he goes out dining with his wife, he can remember the names of food, but he cannot link them with taste, as he forgets what food he is eating by the time it has reached his mouth. Waring can learn new procedures and even a very few facts, not from episodic memory or encoding, but by acquiring new procedural memories through repetition. For example, having watched a certain video recording multiple times on successive days. He never had any memory of ever seeing the video or knowing the content, but he was able to anticipate certain parts of the content without remembering how he learned them, despite having no memory of specific musical pieces when they are mentioned by name and an extremely limited recall of his previous musical knowledge. Waring remains capable of playing complex piano and organ pieces, sight reading and conducting a choir. And when asked how he played it, then Waring has no answer. Doctors believe that such a severe case of amnesia has never been seen before in history. So, the next time you meet someone who stands out from the crowd, remember that they may be one in a million, a true rarity in this world of billions. Embrace the uniqueness within yourself and never be afraid to shine brightly. Thank you for joining us on this journey to explore the stories of these remarkable individuals. Stay tuned for more captivating content that celebrates the diversity and beauty of the human experience.